Are we on? We're on. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Two Friends Live with Wine. Sorry we're a little late. We had some internet connection difficulties. I want to introduce Annette, who's co-hosting the show with me today because Laura's in Florida. Hi, Laura. Hope you're having fun. We miss you. Do you want to go ahead and introduce the wine that we're drinking today?
It is Mama Mango wine.
Mama Mango.
Mama Mango.
Mama Mango wine.
My friend Nona gave this to me for Mother's Day.
It's really good. It tastes almost like a mimosa.
Mama Mango. Mama Mango.
Mama Mango. So today we're going to talk about the law of attraction. And for those of you who've never heard of that, you could also put it, the secret is the same.
The Secret explains the law of attraction.
The secret explains the law of attraction.
Easily written.
Oprah talks about it a lot on her show. Jim Carrey talks about it a lot. There's a lot of information out there these days about the law of attraction. I think it's becoming more popular. People are learning. Waking up and learning how to create their lives. And so we kind of wanted to talk about the law of attraction today. And basically, what is it?
The law of attraction is what you think about comes about. It goes deeper than that.
What you get is what you think. What you think is what you get.
So a lot of times we say, I'll believe it when I see it. But the law of attraction says you need to believe it
and then you'll see it. And it's basically kind of living a positive life, and just really it's about having faith, true faith, because it's really the thought behind the thought that counts. You can sit there and say you believe something and you know something's going to happen, but it's what you truly believe. It's the thought behind the thought that counts, because God knows, the universe knows what you're really, really thinking and whether or not you truly do believe. And so the law of attraction really is about creating your own reality. It's about manifesting the things that you want in your life. It's about thinking positive, thinking happy thoughts, and how to deal with contrast when it comes into your life, because that's a necessity also. And so what do you want to say about the law of attraction and what it is?
Also, when I first learned it, it was what you think about comes about. It goes a little bit deeper. Then it starts off with what you think about comes about, but what you feel, the emotion that you bring in is what comes about. So that whole saying of fake it till you make it, sometimes you have to fake your emotion when you're feeling negative or positive. So I always say positive brings more positive. So we're snowballs. When we are on a positive roadway, we just get bigger and bigger and bigger. When we get thinking negatively and when we get stuck, that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and we attract more situations into our life, or more people, or more instances where negative things show up.
Do you ever notice how people who are always being critical, and they're talking about negative things, or always complaining about their lives and how nothing ever works out? Do you notice how they get more and more and more of it?
Yeah.
They just get deeper and deeper and deeper into this hole. And do you notice that people who are out there without a care in the world, just knowing that everything is always going to work out for me, and they're positive in the face of adversity, how many amazing things, I've seen amazing things come into my life. I've seen amazing things come into your life by thinking that it's not always easy to do when you have certain things going on, but it truly is your emotions. Your emotions dictate your reality, because you can't fake it. God knows what you really feel. God knows what you really think. The universe, God, your inner being, whatever you want to call it, it's really one and the same. Mm-hmm. Just so everybody understands, if we talk about the universe or whatever, it's the same thing as God.
Spirit, Buddha, God, call it what you will. Higher self, that we're always all connected. Yes.
So anyway, speaking of contrast, was there anything more that we wanted to say about the law of attraction?
No, I think that in the book The Secret, she starts off explaining it really well, just explaining how our thoughts are so powerful, and the emotion that we put behind our thoughts are so incredibly powerful. She says, first of all, right off the bat, she explains it, and then she says, just test it out. Like, nobody has to try to convince you of how your positive thoughts will bring more positive things into your life, or just a thought. I have, I don't know, probably 12 vision boards that I've done, just where I have, our mind dreams in pictures and it thinks in pictures. And so, like, vision boards where I've taken boards and put up pictures of things that I wanted. Like, of course, my big thing is the perfect yard.
which you have. Laura and Kelly joined from Florida, but Tiffany says ask, believe, and receive. And that's the thing with the vision boards. I don't know if for those of you who aren't familiar with what a vision board is, you basically create a poster with everything that you ever want to achieve, and you put it on there. Is that?
Yeah, pictures.
I've done a focus wheel. I've never done a vision board.
Yeah, pictures. I put quotes on there that I need to remind myself of daily. How powerful our thoughts are.
Who's Chris Pine? Tiffany has a vision board with Chris Pine on it.
Chris Pine.
Oh, Laura didn't see our wine. It's Mama Moscato.
Do I need to show
We'll
Laura?
show it one more time, just for Laura, because Laura's in Florida.
My friend Nona.
2 hours ahead, by the way. But when you go back to the ask, believe, and receive, so asking is like praying. But you have to believe that you already have it. You have to get that emotion. You have to have that feeling that whatever it is that you're asking for, you already have. You have to find that feeling, because that's what the universe, that's what God responds to, is you believe it and you receive it. You have to have that feeling. So you throw it out there and you ask for it. And then you just have faith is what it comes down to. You just have faith. The Bible even says that.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Ask
just
and-
have faith, but it's the thought behind the thought that counts.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Truly believe and you will receive. And then go on with your merry life and think happy thoughts, and before you know it, you don't have to sit there and concentrate on the thing that you want. You throw it out there, you believe, and you live a great, happy life, and you would be amazed at the things that will come into your life, the things that you would be able to manifest in doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever tested it?
Oh, yeah, I've tested it.
you
It's
ever-
easy. It's easy on the easy things. It's the things that you really, really, really want. It's the things that you really, really, really want that you get tripped up on, because
Yeah.
you keep asking, and you got to stop asking. All you got to do is ask once and believe, and live your life and think happy thoughts. But sometimes when you want something really, really bad, you get stuck in that phase one and keep asking. Or sometimes you're confused about what you want and you're not quite sure what to ask for.
A lot of people love The Secret, the book by Rhonda Byrne, and there's a DVD. And a lot of people were when it first came out, people were turned off because she focuses a lot on materialistic things and money. And when I first was learning it, I did too, because we're used to tangible. Of course, she said throughout the book, and different authors throughout the book say, what you really want is love and joy and happiness. And I was thinking, well, yeah, I do, but I want some of this too. And so I did focus on materialistic things. She does that because she's got to reach the whole population of what the majority of the world want. A lot of us do want that. Once we get to the point where we understand it fully, without love, joy, happiness, without those positive emotions and feelings and thoughts, then those come easier.
Sean said, "Happy birthday, Lisa." I
Happy-
forgot it was my birthday
It's
today.
Lisa's birthday today. She's 29.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just trying to read the comments. No, I know what you're saying. The thing, I don't really concentrate on the materialistic things.
For me, like the very first thing that I did, I don't know.
But did you probably wanted those
So I did.
things then.
I was with my sister Trudy, and she's the one that introduced me to the law of attraction. And Rhonda Byrne, again, focuses on a lot of materialistic things, happiness and joy and love and all that as well, but also materialistic. And so she says, she puts on her website too, it's a secret.tv, thesecret.tv, at I don't know. I'll put it in our notes when we're done with this video. Anyway, so she says, write a blank check. Just write a blank check. And then I went into my bank, so I did. I wrote a blank check, and I wrote it for an odd amount. You could write it for $1 million, or you could write it for $2 million, but you have to believe and feel like you're gonna get it. If you write a check for $1 million, do you really believe you're gonna get that tomorrow in the mail or in a month? Something that has to be believable to you. So
How do you practice that feeling of belief? By thinking all the things you're going to do when you have the money.
Yeah.
I mean, just get the feeling that you already have it. Not just that you believe you'll have it, but that you already have it. What would that feel like to have that?
I wrote the check.
What would you do with $1 million? What did you write it for?
$54,600.
And did you get it?
I got $54,700.
See, that's right there.
But it was funny
That's the
because
ticket.
I wrote this check, and then I got online on my bank account, and I printed off a copy of my bank account, and then I Jimmy rigged it. I put it into Word, and then I went in and I deposited a check for $54,600, and I kept it up on my vision board right next to my bed, where I would see it first thing every morning and before I went to bed every night, because I'd get into bed about an hour before I'd fall asleep and read or watch TV or whatever. So I was always seeing that check on my vision board among many other things. And I was working nights at Micron, and I would go out.
This was that far back.
It was the first thing I did.
I didn't know that you knew this stuff.
It was the
then.
very first thing
And
I
that-
ever did.
And that introduced me to Abraham Hicks and a lot of this stuff like 4 years ago.
Yeah, and so like I would at night, I was working a night shift, I remember, and I would go out like on the track, and I would walk the track, like we'd all like exercise and stuff, and I would go out and I would feel, so I just wanted to see if it worked or not. I just was putting it to the test, like Rhonda Byrne said to. And so I would think about depositing that check into my account and thinking, I want to do this or that, or I want new carpet in my house, or I want this or that, and I just felt it, I saw it, I believed it, and about they say in The Secret, they say give things about 30 days. It can happen faster if you really, really believe it strongly and put strong emotion behind it, or it can happen slower if you doubt what you're trying to attract in. It can take longer. So after about 30 days, I got really discouraged because it wasn't happening. And I am like compulsive. I want right now. I want fast. And it took after about 30 days, I started getting really frustrated with it and flustered. And I thought, oh, this shit doesn't work. And I took that check off my vision board, like I knew better than to do. I took that check off my vision board.
But you truly didn't believe that.
Oh, you know what? I did. I think I hit just one of those days where I was having a crappy day. And I let my little, I don't know, I let my little temper tantrum state get the best of me, and I took that check down, I threw it in the garbage, I ripped it up, I threw it in the garbage, but it didn't matter. Didn't matter, the universe was already working.
Because once you put a dream out there, it doesn't go away.
It was already on its way.
It's you put it out there, the universe has already created it for you. You just have to get in the receiving mode to receive it.
I had put so much thought and emotion and meditation into that the universe was already bringing it. It was already on its way. So by the time I took it down and like threw it away, it was too late. It came days later.
Once you put something out there, you can't walk away from a dream. It won't let you.
And so I called my sister Trudy, and I told her what happened. I said, I wrote this check out for $54,600, and I got a check for $54,700. And it's got to come in a way. If you try to figure it all out yourself, if you think, where is this check going to come from? Wait, who's going to give me this money?
You can't. It says not to worry about the who, the why, or the where. You just believe it's going to happen.
It's
the
not
universe
your
will
job.
find a way.
Yeah,
when you get into that good feeling place, you get, what's the word I'm looking for? The actions. You don't make effort. It doesn't require effort. You get inspired actions where a thought comes to you, and it's like, oh, I need to go do this. I need to go do this now. And it's something that wild horses can't keep you from doing. That's your inspired action, and that's the universe saying, now's the time to do whatever it is.
Your job is the thought and emotion, and it's the universe's job to do all the work. If
you just get in the receiving mode, and that's just being happy.
If you start trying to figure out, who's this going to come from? Where am I going to get this?
When
Then you're getting in your own way.
or you get in a rush,
Get
and
out of
sense
your own
urgency,
way, yeah.
you're in
Get
your
out of
own
your
way,
way.
and it's not going to happen. Get out of your own
Yeah,
way.
it's the universe's
Mhm.
job to figure out the what's, who's, ands, and buts. It's your job to feel good, and it's your job to be positive. It's your job to think positive. It's your job to, yeah.
So let's contrast. Let's talk about contrast.
I hate contrast.
We know how to put the thought out there. We know that we have to believe. We know that we have to get out of our own way. So what do you do when you get all this contrast? Because contrast, here's the thing.
You have to have contrast.
You have to have contrast, and we manifest that contrast into our lives. It helps give us clarity on what we want.
And what we do want.
And what we do want, and it helps give us clarity on getting there. And honestly, it helps us appreciate it more when we have it. And sometimes you don't know what you want until you have what you don't want. And so contrast is all a part of it too. We can't be in that happy state all the time. Otherwise, we wouldn't appreciate being in that happy state when we are there.
Contrast is so important because when my sister first taught me about this and I started learning, I was calling her all the time and asking her questions and trying to figure stuff out. And you know that whole snowball thing that I said, when you think negative, we're snowballs. That negatives in our lives get bigger and bigger and bigger. So whenever I would try to think positive, I would try to meditate. I had my affirmations, my daily affirmations that I'd go over every single day and meditate on. And then something crappy would happen in my life and I would instantly get completely down on myself. I'd get mad at myself, and I'd think, what am I doing wrong? Why did this, I'm trying to be so positive here. Why did this shitty thing just happen in my life? Like, I must be negative somewhere in my life that I'm not aware of. I'm doing it all wrong, you know, and I would get so down on myself, and then I would drop everything for a little while until I could get over that. But now, gosh, just this past year or so, I've learned, and I probably heard it all along, but we don't hear it until we're ready to learn it. Maybe I was too self-critical before, but we learned this past year, I learned about contrast, how we have to have contrast in our life. If we have all good all the time, if we have all the giddy and the happy and the great all the time, we don't always appreciate it the way that we should. We don't grow the way that we should. We don't become the teachers that we need to become. We don't learn unless we have some contrast. So now when I go through something that I don't want or a bend in my road, I think, oh wait, this is growing me. This is growing me, and I need contrast.
Abraham Hicks says that, wouldn't it be amazing, like, everything happens for a reason. And if you truly believe that everything always works out for you, then when you're going through contrast, you need to say, since everything always works out for me, there must be a reason this is happening. I need to find the good in it. And I know sometimes when things are going on in people's lives, it doesn't seem like there is any good there, but trust me, there is. And it's someday you always are able to look back and think, oh my gosh, well, hopefully you do. Not everybody does, but you look back and think, what did I learn from that? Thank God that happened to me, or I wouldn't be where I am right now, and I wouldn't have learned what I've learned now. And wouldn't it be amazing if you could see that while you're going through it, thinking, I know there's a reason for this happening,
Yeah.
I just need to find the good in it, so you're not so sad.
And sometimes we don't see the good in it.
Sometimes you don't
there's
see the
no
good in it.
good in
Sometimes
it.
you just get so
There's not.
hurt, and you know,
sometimes.
nobody can hurt you. It's somebody throws a thought out there in action, and you think a thought about it, and that's what hurts you. It's the thoughts that you think that hurt you. Nobody has the power to hurt you unless you allow them to, and it's by the thoughts and the beliefs that you hold that allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the story of the Buddha that I was telling you?
Yes, tell that story. I love that story, the Buddha story.
Okay, I'm not going to say it right, so maybe Google it
Yin
and get
and
the
yang.
exact. Yeah.
Laura says, go to
Yeah,
your happy
Tiffany.
place.
Yes. There's a story about the Buddha, how the Buddha was, of course, this wonderful teacher to everybody, and he had someone following him around. He was going from place to place, teaching people, putting out his happy energy, putting out all his good stuff, and he had a critic behind him the whole time that followed him everywhere he went that day, that told him, oh, you're full of crap, or you don't know what you're talking about. Everything Buddha would say, this critic had something negative to follow up with, calling him a phony, whatever. At the end of it just warned him, you know what would wear a normal person down? It just like warned should have warned the Buddha out. This person was so cynical. We all have those people in our lives who are cynical or negative and that say things that they shouldn't say, they don't need to be said. Anyway, at the end of the day, someone came up to the Buddha. The Buddha was still in his loving, overflowing, joy-filled state. This person said, you had this person criticizing you all day, being negative to you, saying things that nobody wanted to hear. How is it that you're still like full of light and love and joy and happiness? How is it that you're still so strong? And the Buddha said, if someone were to give you a gift, a present, a gift in a package, and you didn't accept the gift, and you said, no, I don't want the gift, I don't want it, it was never yours. You didn't accept the gift, it's not yours. You don't know what's inside of it, the box, you don't know what's inside of it. You never accepted, so it was never yours. You're not missing anything. And he said, and that's what it is with our words, with other people's words. When someone says something of like ignorance to you or rudeness to you, you don't have to accept those. You can say, no, thank you, I don't want those. And you can shield those back. I always shield myself. Anyway,
That's easy. It's easy to shield yourself from people that...
You don't have to accept other people's words and take them in.
But when it's somebody that you love, it's harder. When it's somebody that's really close to you, it's harder to do that. But you don't have to.
Emotionally
you don't
attached.
have to take. You don't have to accept it and let it in and take the gift, though. It doesn't matter who it is. But we learned that. That kind of goes, I love that story, but it's kind of what we were talking about earlier about how we're responsible for our own energy in our life.
Yeah.
And we're responsible for also not only our own energy, but the energy that we surround ourselves with, meaning the people that we surround ourselves with.
So we are responsible. So we're responsible for our own energy when we feel crappy. Lisa's called me before and said, I really need to talk to you. I need to be around you. I'm feeling crappy. And I said to her, not trying to hurt her feelings, I can't be around you right now. Like, I feel shitty too. Or I'm not in a place where I feel good. I can't, or, I'm having a hard time myself. Let's put this off. Let's not get together tonight. Or let's not get together tomorrow night. We can't, I know. And that is because I'm responsible for my own emotions. But I'm responsible for who comes into my circle as well. And if I'm feeling crappy, I'm gonna give some of that to Lisa. I'm gonna say, oh, I feel so bad about this or that, and I'm responsible for how I feel and my thoughts, and I have to get myself back into a good feeling spot, or I have to get over that little negativity thing that I was having and be more positive.
But usually when we do get together,
it's always
oh my gosh, we get so much energy going between us. But when you get around energy vampires or people that are negative and complaining about things all the time, or
and in the past, I always thought, wait, no, I'm a really positive person. I can be around this person, or I can be around a negative person.
But you can't.
But you really
does bring you
can't.
down.
You really can't. You're not only responsible because I think, oh, I'll shield myself, or I'll protect myself, or I'm positive, nobody can bring me down. But you are not. Some people don't accept responsibility for their own energy that they bring to the table. They won't accept responsibility for their own energy. And that makes you have to be responsible for not only your energy, but for the energy of your friends and the people that you bring into that circle.
You can't, and you shouldn't be responsible for anybody else's energy. It's draining.
So you need to just
surround yourself with positive people. I've been I've been spending a lot of alone time, and I've really been learning a lot about myself, but I really struggle being around certain people. I really want to, I have a very select group of friends that I like hanging out with, because I try to keep the positive people around. I don't know why I've been so in tune to that this last 9 months, year, but I've really enjoyed a lot of alone time, and I have been very more conscious about the people that I'm surrounding myself with, and keeping positive upbeat people in my life, and it's made a huge difference. It's actually made a huge difference. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised the difference it makes just in the things that you can achieve and the things that you do in your happiness level.
Yeah.
Um,
So when you have bad things happen, I want to ask you this. When you have a lot of bad things that are happening in your life, a lot of contrast, call it what you will, bad things. When you have problems or contrast or issues come up, sometimes you think about the past. How do you deal with that? How do you let go of the anger?
oh wow,
And
that's-
how do you let go of the bitterness when somebody has created anger or bitterness inside of you?
it's not easy. It's not, you know, it's easy when it's not somebody you care. If you have somebody that you care about in your life, and they just say they lie to you about a lot of stuff, or there's a lot of deceit, there's a lot of hurt. It is not easy to just put anger aside and not have bitterness. And I know Abraham Hicks is really big on only seeing the good in people, but sometimes it's really hard to see the good in people.
You have to look with a microscope.
I've struggled with. I know if you see the good in someone, it helps you to prevent the bitterness and the anger. But when it's that bad that you have a hard time seeing any good, and you do get angry and you do get bitter, but you need to realize that there's nothing. No one has a power to hurt you, like I said earlier.
How do you stop the momentum when you get fired up, or when you get mad, or when you get angry?
I meditate. You know what I do? I go into a room by myself and I will meditate. And a lot of times when I meditate, this might sound crazy to a lot of people, but I talk to Jesus a lot when I meditate, and that really works me through it, because I really do believe that you need to see people the way that God sees them. And sometimes when you're struggling with certain people in your life and you don't see those good things anymore, it's really hard. But when I meditate, it makes me realize that nothing that is ever said or done by someone else, it's really a reflection of what they have going on with them, and it really has nothing to do with you, but we tend to take it personally,
Yep.
which is something that we need to learn not to do. But I meditate. I like spending time alone to get back into, what did you call it earlier? You get back on track. You get back into the positive momentum. So you can't just stop whenever you're going down that trail of the bad momentum, the negative momentum. You can't just stop and do a complete turnaround. You have to replace it with a happier thought. Try to think of the lessons that you learned. I constantly will remind myself of all the things I learned about myself, all the things that I needed to learn. There was a reason I brought all this into my life, because I manifested it. We manifest everything that we bring into our lives. We manifest that.
The good, the
So I
bad,
try
and
to
the ugly.
tell myself, what have I learned from this? What is the good in it? Even though it hurt, whatever, you just try to remind yourself all the things that you learned, because obviously there was things there that I needed to learn about me, and I'm so thankful for learning so many things that I have about myself in the last year. And I don't regret. I wouldn't change anything, and I think that you just need to get to that point where you can say, I wouldn't change any of it. I've learned so much, and even though it was hard, things that you might be going through, God bless that person for doing those things that have brought me to the realizations that I've learned about myself and the things that I want, and I'm very appreciative of that. And that's a hard road to get there, but I think through meditating and spending time alone, and surrounding myself with positive people who I love and have fun with and laugh a lot with, and I think that's made the world of difference for me. Is that a good answer? I think the wine's starting to hit me. Do you see how red my nose is? I think my nose, I look like Rudolph. Sorry. I do. I got a red, look at the red nose. That's from riding in my car. I love you.
You're the birthday
It's
girl.
like soul
I love
contracts,
you
huh?
too. Yeah, soul contracts. I was going to ask you about that. You believe in soul
I
contracts?
do believe in soul contracts.
What do you think they are?
I think that we do come here in groups. I think that there are certain people that we come back time. I don't know for those of you who believe in reincarnation or not, but I think we do come here in groups. And I think that You have people that you come here with that you agree to help each other learn certain things. And God bless those people for putting you through that contrast. I mean, how hard is it? It must be for them to hurt people that they care about because they know it's what we're supposed to, it's something that you agreed upon before we came here. It's also a soul contract, somebody that you meet that you fall in love with. I mean, there's all kinds of different soul contracts. It's not just to create the contrast, but they're there for a reason. There's people, you cannot deny that there's people that you meet in your life that you click with immediately and you think, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Friends, relationships, whatever. Nobody can deny that you have those people in your life that you just knew that you were meant to have in your life for whatever reason, to help you grow, to help you have fun, to love you, to do whatever. Your kids, whatever. I do believe it. And God bless those people. How hard would it be to make a soul contract with somebody to come here and say, I'm going to destroy you and tear you to shreds and destroy your hearts to teach you a lesson? How hard would that be for them?
Yeah. It's a
You know?
contract.
It's a contract.
We promised to help
They do
each
it.
other grow.
We did. We really did. Is there anything? We're almost out of time.
I know.
See how fast this went? She's
Yeah.
like, is this...
Please let this go by fast, Lisa.
I know. I think we've been we need to go. We're almost up
When
on a
is
half
Laura
hour.
coming back?
I know, Laura. We miss you.
I was-
Tiffany. Sean says, never let anybody put you down.
I was kind of cussing you out earlier, Laura. So,
Yeah, a little bit.
a little bit.
I've had a rough day today. The Bloody Marys help. I feel a lot better right now, except for my red nose. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. We'll probably have to have a part 2 of the law of attraction because we didn't even get to talk about all the things that we wanted to talk about.
Still learning.
And I want to thank Annette for joining me on my birthday. Yay! 27 today.
27.
That's what we're going to go with. I told Laura that was my new move too. We did that on one show. But I almost forgot to spit my gum out today too. So anyway, what are we going to say? If anything that we've said offended you, please don't take it personally. These are just our opinions. We love you all. Have a great day. It's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
See you next Sunday.